Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday, August 21st, 2023. It's going to be a short week for me here, guys. And it's not because of school starting, although that does happen for our family here this week. But it's because on Wednesday, I'm going to be heading out to Budapest to cover the marathon. And I'll be able to catch a couple of finals the last 3 days of World Championships as well. So that's going to be very exciting. But I'm not going to be here, and I think the time zones are going to be all weird. So I don't think it's going to be conducive to doing live streams. Plus, while I'm over there, I feel like anytime I'm not like at the World Championship Stadium or covering a marathon, I feel like I need to be exploring Budapest for you guys. And by that, I mean eating as many things as possible, right? I feel like that's... I'm not going to say it's a better use of my time, but it's a very unique opportunity. So I feel like I need to take advantage of that. And then we'll circle back for the live stream. Although that won't happen until another week later, because the following week I'll be in Chamonix in France, in the Alps, covering UTMB. I'm not running, don't worry. But I do have some things that I purchased to help me cover that race and some of the other activities I'll be doing while I'm up there. And we'll get to that unboxing in just a moment. But before we do that, let's say hi to everyone listening in on the podcast, on the audio only version. Hopefully you guys are having a good run today, and hopefully it's not super crazy hot where you are. It is very hot here. Last week, I was like, oh man, it's not that hot here. It's super mild. We enjoyed it while we could, because now it's very hot again. In fact, the first day of school for my kids is slated to be literally the hottest day in either of their lives. Because it's been a long time since it's been that hot, or as hot as it's going to be later in the week here in Illinois. And my kids have never seen that kind of temperature before. I think ever here in Illinois or not. So that'll be interesting. I'm hoping that they cancel outdoor recess for the day. And I'm also hoping my daughter's first cross country meet is on Thursday. I hope that gets canceled as well, because that's just really hot to have kids running out there in the woods. But hopefully for you guys listening to this, maybe you're on a treadmill in air conditioning. That would be nice. That's what I wish for you. And everyone watching this on YouTube later, but not live, welcome to the number one running podcast to listen to. If you're wondering what's inside that box, we have two big ones. They're both from Moosejaw. I ordered them separately, but I'm going to open them at the same time because they're all UTMB related. Stuff that I don't have. Although one thing I kind of have. But this is some brand new stuff. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Welcome to you guys as well. All right, let's see who we got in the chat. Aaron's Basement here says, what's up, co-fam? DNF, my first race. Uh-oh. It was a half marathon in the evening. Hips and knees weren't happy at mile 9 and decided to cut losses, and summer races are grueling. Well, I'm sorry to hear about the DNF, but it sounds like you made a good choice. Because, yeah, summer races are hard. And if your hips and knees aren't happy at 9, you got more than 5K left. That's a long way to go. Runner Will says, hello, co-fam. Always good to catch us live. Hope you all are having a great day. Well, I'm happy to see you in the chat, Will. Hope you're doing okay. Wojciech Malkiewicz is in week 8 of New York City Marathon training. It's a recovery week or a down week. Volume's going down 3.75 miles with 9-ish pace at 72 degrees Fahrenheit at 4:30 in the morning. Wow, that's hot. 72 degrees never sounds hot. But for running, depending on the humidity, it can be. If you're like 72 degrees in somewhere where it's dry heat, like in Colorado, 72 degrees isn't bad at all. 72 degrees somewhere where there's humidity can be pretty nasty. And I'm guessing if it was 72 degrees at 4:30, there's some humidity there. Eliza says, starting to run again after COVID. Lucky for me, it was very mild. Not quite sure how I'm supposed to ramp things up again, because everything I read online is for when it was severe. I'd say take it easy, you know. Eliza says, doing it by low heart rate for now. I think that's a smart way to do it. See how your body is recovering. You know, there's no rush. All right, let's see. Who else do we got here? Sean Devlin's here. He says, hey, everyone. Been a minute since I caught a live stream. Psyched to be back to my usual afternoon routine. Are you guys getting back into a usual afternoon routine? We're not yet here, because I'm getting ready to go on a big trip, and I've got like a million things scheduled for tomorrow. It's going to be hectic. I feel like getting ready to leave for a trip frequently gets me more exhausted than the trip itself. That's not true. It feels like it, though. I'm nervous. My flight is on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, I leave at like, you know what? I have to double check. Make sure it's not too, I want to say it's 4:20 in the afternoon, But now that I'm thinking about it, it might be 14:20 in the afternoon because I'm flying on Austria Airlines. I've never flown on Austria Airlines. Hopefully you've flown on Austria Airlines. You had a good experience. I'm not sure. We'll see how it ends up. But yeah, we leave in the afternoon, and then it's like 15 hours of travel because there's a many-hour layover somewhere else in Europe, and then I'll get to Budapest. So it's going to be a long travel day. I don't know. It's going to be evening when I arrive. So it's like I don't know if it'll be dark. It's always hard for me to arrive somewhere at night because then that's what happened in Japan. And it threw me off for the entire trip. I don't think it was just that, but evening arrivals are tough for me. So I don't know. Martha says, I think I've flown on Austrian Airlines. Better food than U.S. carriers. Well, I did get to select a, what did they call it? Ovo-lacto vegetarian meal, or just a regular vegetarian meal. But they had all sorts of options depending on if you had religious reasons for vegetarianism, and they let you pick that too. So I'm like, oh, that's very thoughtful, interesting, So yeah, all right. Eric Siri says, yo, what's going on, everyone? Thoughts go out to the Baja Cali crowd dealing with flooding, etc. Yeah, the storms are crazy. I was just listening to the news. I was filming some B-roll down here, had the news on my computer. They were talking about all the flooding that Hillary is bringing. And yeah, it's intense weather all over the country right now. And Eric also further updates us. Leadville did not go according to plan. Let's just say heat, dehydrated, diarrhea, cramping. He was out at 50, he said. Well, 50 miles is a long way to go. I wouldn't be sad about it. I mean, you're disappointed that you didn't get to finish the race. But I just feel like that race sounds so grueling. It's all at altitude. There's so much climbing. I mean, it's not that other races don't have altitude, but Leadville has a lot of high altitude. Like it's all over 11,000 feet, isn't it? Just seems great. I can't imagine it. And Calvin says, to further the weather-related news, over 20,000 acres burned in the Pacific Northwest over the weekend. Air quality has improved this morning just a bit, but it's still hit an unprecedented level. I think we had the worst AQI in the world for a good 24-hour span. You know what I find interesting about that? Not to downplay the news. I hear the fires are quite substantial in Washington State. But I don't think you guys... do you guys getting smoke from Canada as well? I don't know if you guys are. But I feel like an off-cited fact is like, oh, for the last 24 hours, New York had the worst air quality in the world. Or like the Pacific Northwest had the worst air quality in the world. Where's the place that normally has that? The place that's just like, see, we weren't so bad today. Where is that? Does anyone know? Is it one place or does it change all the time? I feel like it'd be terrible if it was just one place that's just like in a valley surrounded by like rubber processing plants and it just has smog all the time. And then its only glimmer of hope is if there's natural catastrophe elsewhere in the world. I want to know where that is. Not that I want to go there necessarily, but I want to know where that is. All right. Update. Tails de Mileto says, Kofuzi Run Club singlet, made by Rabbit. I'm excited to get it. Estimated time so we can have it. It's going to be a while. They told me 8 weeks, and I'm just getting feelers for sizing. I'll probably give them an answer today or tomorrow, how many I want to get. But there's a poll now. There's a very, very rough mock-up on my Instagram story where you could see the Rabbit singlet. It's a Rabbit logo on one side, and then the Kofuzi Run Club, the circular logo, the dragon, that's in the Kofuzi Run Club on Strava. That logo will be on the right-hand side, and then on the back there are like triangles down the center of the back. You could see it on Instagram. I put out polls for men's sizing and women's sizing to give me a sense. They were like, if you get less than 3 requests for any size, you should probably skip it because it's going to be harder for the factory to like do that small a number and increase costs. So like, let me know. There's no obligation at this point. It just gives me a sense of, do I need to get any double XLs for men? Do I need to get any smalls for women? That kind of thing. Or do I need an XL for women? Do I need small? Because it goes to small to XL for women and small to double XL for men. So just let me know. It gives me an idea of like how many I should pick. Otherwise, most of them will be like women's medium and men's medium and men's large. You know what I mean? So that gives me an idea. All right. William Wang says, how's the Boston 12? I went out for a run on the Boston 12, and I don't want to say too much about it yet because a lot of people have told me that it required a significant number of miles to break in. And my first run, I have mixed feelings. I actually have very, very strong feelings, but I'm going to hold my tongue. I'm going to see if the shoe does, in fact, break in a little bit. Maybe I'll put some easy miles in it. It's going to be a while, though, to get my ultimate opinion because I'm leaving for 11 days. And I'm not going to get a chance to run in it over the next amount of time. Is it 11 days? Is it 10? I actually don't know. I probably should figure that out because then I need to know how much underwear to bring. Either way, 10 or 11, that's pretty much all the underwear. But that video won't come out till after I get back. And Daniel Burton wants to know how my legs are feeling. They're feeling better. I feel like I got a lot of sleep after I got back from Colorado the last time, just trying to recover, come back. I had some hard activity in the last month and a half. I didn't have any races, but we did Hut Run Hut. I did the Manitou Incline. I've been trying to keep up with pro athletes, at least on their easy runs. So it's been a lot, and there's been travel too. Plus other just summer stuff. I went on family vacation for a week. So it's been tough on the body. Stress is stress, they say. So I will say that the legs are feeling better. I did a track workout the other day to test out the Cielo road a little bit more, which I guess doesn't make too much sense since it's a road flat, but I did get it on the track, and I did a couple of threshold workouts, one in the SC Trainer 2 and then one in the Boston 12. The times aren't great. The times are better for my VO2 max work isn't terrible. My threshold stuff needs a lot of work. But I'm just putting in effort, and I'll get fit. I don't need to be race specific fit, so the fact that my threshold work my paces are a little bit off is not surprising. I got back into the gym the other day. Although I should have gone back yesterday, or maybe I should go today again. I don't feel like I got too rusty from it, but I definitely felt like the DOMS, the delayed onset muscle soreness in my hammies 2 days later. So that's kind of nice. It's nice to be sore. But overall, the legs are feeling they're bouncing back from how exhausted I've been. So I'm feeling better. I'm not super fit, but I'm feeling better. Go Running with Others, it says, I got to chat and run, or chat/run, this past weekend with 3-time Flying Pig marathon winner, Caitlin Keene, Kate South Keene on Instagram this past weekend. Oh, jumbling on my words. That's cool. Where did you do that? Was she up? Are you in Texas? That's where she's based out of, right? That's cool. All right. All right. Whatever says, hi, Austrian citizen here. Austrian Airlines is okay. They fly pretty well. Seats are okay as well. That's good. It was interesting because to pick a seat, I had to pay an extra fee, which was weird. And then when I did it, I didn't get to pick a seat, but I got to pick a representative seat. So they basically just want to know, do you have a preference for aisle or window or center or whatever? I'm guessing it would make more of a difference if you had multiple people in your party and you wanted to sit people together. But it was weird. So $55 to pick a seat. And then to not even pick a seat, but just to lodge a preference was kind of weird. So I don't know. But then the meal thing seemed really nice. So I don't know. My biggest concern is I know that they are a United partner. I just want to make sure that my miles carry over from one to the place to the other. That's my main thinking. All right. Go Running says, Kate South Keene lives in Texas, as do I. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's cool. Lala P says, this might sound super greedy, but I hope we have those singles before CIM. I think if I can get them ordered this week, we should hopefully have them before CIM. New York Marathon will be really tight. I don't know if we'll be able to do New York Marathon. But I'm thinking basically at this point, it's like a holiday purchase, you know? So, there. All right. Oh, Frank LaHoulier says he found out that he still has a pair of Boston 9s in his closet, and he's tempted to go run them to see how they match his memory. I did that. Well, not that, but that's why I bought another pair of Peg Turbos. Because everyone kept saying, like, oh, man, we want a new Peg Turbo. This shoe is like a Peg Turbo. If Nike updated the Peg Turbo, this is what it feel like. I kept hearing that a lot. So I was like, you know what? I got to buy a pair of Peg Turbos. So I bought a pair of Mark Peterson's Peg Turbos. He had an old pair lying around. And I think I'm going to have to buy, I was thinking about it just today. I think I'm going to have to buy a pair of Boston 9s to see if I like it as much as I thought I did. All right. Should we get to the box? Daniel Burton wants to see the box. Let's get to the box. All right. There's 2 boxes here. You know what I like about this? So I'm familiar with Moosejaw. I think it's out of Michigan. I'm familiar with them because I use them to buy all our rock climbing equipment. If there's anything we couldn't buy from the rock climbing gym, I usually like to try to buy stuff there. But if I can't find it there, I can usually find it on Moosejaw. So that's how I'm familiar with them. But then I needed some extra stuff to get ready for this UTMB trip. So I bought it from them. I didn't realize that they had that. I didn't realize that they sold that kind of stuff until Des Linden mentioned it in her book. I didn't know that Des Linden used to work at Moosejaw. When she was running the Boston Marathon, and earlier on in her career, she would finish a marathon and then show up to work the next day and have to fulfill orders. I don't know if she was picking orders. She did something over there, but she worked at Moosejaw. So I was just like, okay, let's see what Moosejaw has. And they had all the stuff that I was looking for. And it's kind of fun company. Look, it says sealed with a kiss. And then it even has someone's initials on there. I don't know who PW is. I think it would have been pretty amazing if it was DL. I'd be like, did Des Linden pack this box? I know she doesn't work at Moosejaw anymore. But that'd be pretty amazing. And then, so this one says sealed with a kiss. And the other box says, no knife, use teeth. How about that? I'm going to decline that offer. I'm going to use a knife and see what's inside this box. Now, this is stuff I bought myself, so I know what's in here. I think I know what's in here. I might have forgotten. Okay. There's only one thing in here. That's what I thought. So I don't really need this anymore because Kraft sent me an even bigger bag to bring to Chamonix. But when I went to Hut Run Hut, I have a 40-liter Osprey pack. And I specifically bought that one a while ago because it fits. It's the same size as a roller bag, so it should be able to fit as carry-on. But I found that one was a little bit small for the number of days I was in the wilderness and the amount of running that I was doing and the number of running shoes I needed. So I was like, I need a bigger bag, like a duffel bag. So I got this one. It's from Petzl. I have Petzl rock climbing shoes and a harness from them. And it's just a big duffel. It's got little clips for the extra backpack strap. So you wear it as a backpack. You could wear it as a duffel. Or carry it as a duffel. It's got a little shoe window in there and stuff. So, yeah, nice beefy zippers. I was going to use this as one of my pieces of luck. Although this looks, I feel like it's probably bigger when it's full. But it looks kind of small. It's definitely bigger than the 40 liters that I normally have. But I just needed a slightly bigger bag if I'm going to check. So there's that. Comment says, yes, 40 liters is the max carry-on volume for bags, but not enough if you have multiple shoes and other stuff like camera equipment. Yeah, I didn't bring tripods and stuff or mics. I brought some mics, but not all of my mics. like I would if I had to do like a live stream. But I had like 4 pairs of shoes, and then I had 3 pairs of shoes, and they gave me another pair when I got there, and then so there was just a lot. So like I was way over full, and then, so I had to ask people to like, I had to ask them to like, hey, can you just mail some of this stuff back to me? So I felt bad. I don't like to do that. Daniel Burton says the Petzl is quality stuff. Yeah, I like the stuff that I've gotten from Petzl before. It's on a variety of industries, but it's been good. Interestingly enough, I've not tried any of their headlamps. I know a lot of you guys like their headlamps. Oh, speaking of, Calvin says, can strongly recommend the Petzl Bindi headlamp for super minimal daily setup. Not meant for ultras, but it's invaluable for night and early morning runs, especially in winter. I might have to look for that. I'm not super interested in a ultra headlamp, but for like darkness, I keep getting invited to all these Take the Bridge events, and those are all in the dark. So I feel like I maybe need a lighter headlamp, one that I can run a little bit faster in. So maybe that's a good one. All right. This is the more interesting box. This is the tall box. Very big. So that other Petzl bag, it'll get use. I also specifically picked the Petzl because then I could use that for no matter what brand I'm going on. If I'm going on a trip, it won't be like clashing. I kind of feel bad that like I'm going to go, like the first half of my trip, I'm going with Asics to Budapest. And I'm going to have a craft bag, but I don't know how directly they're competing. All right. This, I'm not sure about this, but I bought trekking poles, Lakey trekking poles. Everyone on the Hut Run Hut trip had trekking poles, except for me. I did not have trekking poles because I'd never run with trekking poles before. But everyone else seemed to have them, and a lot of people had Lakey ones. I borrowed some of Ricky Gates' trekking poles, and he was like, "How do you like it?" I'm like, "These are great. Thanks for letting me borrow these. This is awesome." And he's like, yeah, I run with a 120 centimeter, so you should probably get a 125. And I was like, oh, I kind of thought that these were maybe too tall for me, but whatever you say. So I bought 125 centimeter. The Neo Trail FX1 Super Light. Push button. Yeah. I'm going to have to figure out, number one, how do I make this extend into a regular full-length size pole? That's one thing I don't know how to do offhand. Like it says push button. There's no buttons. Where's the button on this? Anyway, that's one thing I'm going to have to figure out. And number two, I'm going to figure out how do you store them? Like I saw people running in with them like in their packs and stuff. Other people had like quivers that they could put them in and stuff. That looked pretty cool. I don't know how to do that part either. So I have some figuring out to do about this stuff, but at least I bought them. That's step one. I have them. I'd like to say I'll practice with them before I go to the mountains, but I might just put them in the suitcase like this. Yeah. All right. You guys had a lot to say about this. Sean Devlin says, for the craft bag, should just have some duct tape on the logo. I did think about that. Maybe putting some like gaffer's tape on it. And then you could take it off later when I'm on the craft portion of the trip. I thought about that. Anyway. Jazz Darren says, the trekking poles are great for hiking and trail running. It's like being in a 4x4. Yeah. I don't know if it was Gus Gibbs or Ricky Gates that was telling me that like, it reduces the amount of like relative weight on your legs by like 10%. So it's like you're lighter. And I'm like, oh, okay. Once I was like, all right, now you're talking like a road runner's language. This could result in like a 10% increase in performance. So then I was like, all right, maybe I'll borrow yours if you don't mind me borrowing them. But yeah, Kevin wants to know if I feel like a cross country skier using them. No, I felt pretty natural with them. It's just kind of like walking. Sometimes it kind of felt like sometimes people have a thing where they have to like touch things every time when they walk through spaces. It kind of feels like I had that kind of condition. So it's just kind of like sometimes when it levels out, then you're just walking and you're like, well, what do I do? Hold them high and don't let them touch the ground, or do I just like tap, 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 tap as I'm going? So I'm, there's awkward things that I'm figuring out. But you know what? Ashley Mateo is also going to be on this trip with Kraft. And so I'm just going to stay behind Ashley and do what Ashley does. That's what I'm going to do. I'll let her help me figure it out. Eric says, Co slowly morphing into a trail runner. Glutes are activating. Poles, Trabuco Max 2 underfoot. Change is nearly complete. I mean, yeah, poles, right? I feel like this is legit. Here's the other thing that I'm trying to figure out. Stevie76 says, trekking poles versus selfie sticks. I'm like, well, how do I mount it? Can I just mount my GoPro to the bottom of this? Because I feel like I had to do a thing where then I'd have to hold both poles in one hand and then the selfie stick out in the other, and that felt awkward. Can I just screw something into the top of this or drill some? I don't know. I got to figure out some way to like combine selfie stick and trekking pole in one. I feel like we're on to something. You know what I mean? So I feel like that I got to figure out. I'd like to figure out, because I haven't talked with him, but I've asked Sage Kennedy in comments many times when he does his ski-mo. I'm like, can't you just put your 360 at the end of that skiing pole? Like, it seems weird that you have two ski poles and a 360 on a selfie stick. Why? Can we eliminate one of the sticks? And that's something that I really want to try and figure out. So maybe I will open these up before I go to Chamonix. But I don't know. We'll see. Jay Free says, did I see you in Novablast Trail for the stairs video? Good road to trail shoe. Yes, good eye. That was the Novablast Trail. It is a good road to trail as long as the trail isn't super technical. It's a little bit squishier than I would like for a very difficult trail. But when I packed for this trip, I wasn't planning on doing any trail running. So it was kind of like, this is the beefiest trail shoe that I had. And the thing that I didn't like about it is there's so much behind the heel on the Novablast Trail. Like, behind, you know what I mean? Where is it? You can kind of see it here. There's so much behind it. As I was coming down the stairs, I kept scraping all this extra junk in the trunk against the steps. And so that could have been bad, kind of like if you think about like a miniature version of like the problems that the Hoka 10.9 can provide. Like, this stuff kept catching, although it's much less pronounced in the Novablast Trail, but it kept catching, and you could see there's lots of scuffs just from that one day. So it was, I feel like it's a good road to trail shoe. Would I recommend it for the Manitou Incline? Maybe not. It wasn't bad, but just watch out for that bit. All right. Daz Darren said, the buttons are tiny and located near the joints of the poles. There's no buttons over here. I'm going to bring these to the Alps. I figure if there's a great place to be a total noob about how to use trekking poles, it's UTMB. Unless people are getting all trail bro about it, be like, broke him while we're out here, don't even know how to use trekking poles. I'd be like, correct. Now, will you tell me where the button is? I can't find it. I really don't know where I keep wanting to push this. Even I know that's not a button, but I want to push it. Because I don't know where these buttons are that you guys are talking about. I'll find them. Calvin says, Solomon sells a quiver and channel your inner Legolas. I do totally want the quiver, but I was talking about it with the Solomon people, and they were like, it's one of our fastest selling out products. Like, it's only like $25, and like the moment we restock it, it's gone. I was like, then make more. They're like, we're trying. I was like, okay. Michelle DeMaio says, my running pack has little loops to hold poles. Yeah, so I'll probably bring, I don't think Kraft makes running packs, do they? I'll probably bring a Solomon pack, because I know the Solomon pack has like 8 different, they were telling me about it on the mountain, but we were at like 11,000 feet, and my memories don't form at 11,000 feet. And so they were like, there's 6 different ways that you can store poles in your pack. And I was like, I don't have poles. I'll never buy poles. Now I'm like, I should have paid more attention. I'm still trying to find this button, but I'm sure I'm sure I'll find it eventually. Calvin says, tape on logos takes me back to the original Vaporfly days where other brands sponsored athletes would wear them with the logos blacked out. Now they don't even black them. Not only they don't even bother to black them out, you know. Paul Public says, I don't own poles, but it seems to be mandatory to have gloves too. Some of the Lakey ones, like you have to wear like a hand strap system. I don't think I need gloves for these. This is a very soft material that's on here. It's cushioned and padded too. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't think we're going on that long of a trail run. The big one run that they highlighted is like a 6 or 7 mile run. I don't know if that's just the one way up or both. I don't know. But there's a descent and I was like, and an incline. I was like, maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll just bring them and I won't need them, but then I'll look the part when I'm there. No one will know. No one will know that I have no idea how to use these, but I'll just put them in the pack and never take them out maybe. And I'll just be like, this incline these Alps, they're rugged, but I didn't even feel like I needed to get my poles out. Maybe that's what I'll say. All right, let me scroll down and catch up with you guys. Stevie76 says, YouTube search, how to use a trekking pole. I did do a YouTube search on it. And I probably will be doing more on like how to store these. I got to figure that out. Dominic says, you can store the poles in one of the soft blast compartments in any running vest. That's not going to hit you in the face if you do that. I feel like I could just put them in the back. But there's also straps. They're strappy. Like all the dangling cords, those are all for trekking poles, I thought. I don't know. Oh, AJ says the button is at the base of the handle. Is it really? Handle up here. I still don't see this button you guys are talking about. Well, do I got to get these out of here? I think I got to get these out of here. You guys keep telling me that this is easy, but I don't know. I don't want to accidentally cut something I'm not supposed to. Okay. So I've got one of the trekking poles out. How do I get it to not fall apart? It's falling apart. I don't see any buttons. Where is there a button? I feel like there's something here that I'm not getting. I don't know what it is I'm not getting. This is not the button. I really am gonna have to take some time. I'm gonna have to do a YouTube video on this. Is it this? Do I tug something? What's going on here? I don't know. I really don't know what I'm doing here, guys. There's no buttons anywhere on this. I give up. I'm going to have to figure that out later. Oh, boy. AJ says, pull up on the handle, down on the first link to snap in place. Pull up on the handle? Pull? Whoa. Oh, there we go. Oh, there's more here. Oh, but then it does this. More came out. But it just keeps moving. That's not going to be very... Do I have to twist it? Oh, boy. I'm never going to figure this out. It just goes small. And then these come out. And then I think I just extend it. I think that's it. You just extend, you just pull it. There's no button. But I feel like I can, it smushes. This is not right. Oh, there's the button. I found the button. Ah, yeah. Richard Wilson says, pull harder and it will lock. Okay, Des Aarons. Keep pulling up. You guys, it's pretty simple. You just keep pulling and then a button appears. It comes there. Oh, see, look at that. And then this is kind of cumbersome of a system. But with your help, I figured it out, guys. There we go. And Jay was like, I guess just read the directions. There was no directions. They just assumed that I'd be able to figure that out. I would not have. Someone, if it wasn't for you guys, someone in the Alps would have been like, just pulled it and then been like, here you go. And I'd been like, oh, okay. All right. You guys, thank you for your help. All right. Colin Tanner says, trail runner brain increased 300%. That's true. For me, it's easy to have larger gains in the beginning because I don't have a lot to start with. Yeah. Ryan Will says, this is the best podcast anywhere. Momentum Unbound said, this conversation got weird fast. And Martha says, agree. This is the best live stream for laugh therapy. There we go. Papa said, someone in the Alps would have rolled their eyes. I know. But you know what? I doubt that this will happen. But if I see someone else in the Alps or anywhere having problems with trekking poles, I'm going to be like, let me help you, friend. These can be tricky. I can help you. Oh, man. I'm glad that you guys are having fun with that one. I've impressed myself. I mean, like, I get lost all the time. I got lost going to the Manitou incline. All I had to do was keep walking straight. Instead, I made an unnecessary left, and then I got lost. I couldn't figure out how to use these trekking poles. I mean, not even how to use them, how to like put them into active mode. But now I'm getting it. I'd like to say we're figuring things out together, but you guys are telling me things that I should have figured out a long time ago, I guess. But I appreciate it, and we're doing it together. That's what makes it fun. Richard Wilson says, have your hand through the loop wrong, come up through the bottom. Oh, there we go. Yeah, like this. Isn't that what I did? That's not what I did? I feel like I did do it wrong. Because I came in through the top like this. That's not right. You had to come up through here like that. I need to adjust this. There's not enough here for me. But yeah. Okay. I kind of knew that, but I think I just got so excited about the button. All right. Question is, can you disassemble it? Yeah, I just did. That part was easy. Once you figure it out. I mean, these are pretty simple things, once you figure it out. Yeah, Tracy Smith says, good Lord, what did I walk into here? Yeah. Eric wants to know, what's a more difficult task, activating the gloops or activating the poles? Activating the gloops is harder to do. Activating the poles, what's much more satisfying to figure out. You know what I mean? Because still, even with activating the glutes, I'm not sure I've actually activated them. But with the pole, you're in trekking mode now. You know what I mean? All right. Kevin Hong says, guess what? Coros has turn-by-turn GPS now, even on the Pace 2. That's crazy value. Is it still in beta? I get emails from Koros all the time about stuff that's coming up and all that stuff. And most of the time it's stuff like Apex Pro 2 Chamonix edition coming soon. And I'm like, I don't. It's cool, but not something I'm super excited about. But Pace 2 getting turn-by-turn directions, that's pretty impressive. I wish I still had a Pace 2. I returned mine to test it out because that would be fun to test out. Like, for example, in Budapest. By the way, anyone going to be in Budapest? Is anyone in Budapest? Anyone going to be in Budapest? I've been talking to some people like online. People have been DMing me about doing a group run in Budapest. Is that something we're interested in? I think it's going to be real small. We'll just meet somewhere and go for a run, you know? Zach Evely says, would you rather watch Kofuzi try to open polls or watch him talk with no volume for 10 minutes? That's funny. I think the polls is better. The volume was, I don't know, strange. All right. You know what happened to me, though, yesterday? I've been complaining about the Koros Pace 2. Now that since we're talking about the Pace 2, I've been complaining about it because when that foot pod came out from Koros, then I was like, oh man, Koros takes forever to update. Like when you're doing a pace change, it just takes forever. And I was like, all this foot pod did was make me realize how laggy the Koros watches all seem to be. Pace 2, Apex 2, Apex 2 Pro. And so I was like, not that excited about Koros anymore. I'm like, it's a really great price and a lot of features, but like if you need very up to the minute updates in terms of what your current pace is, Koros isn't the one, is how I've been thinking. But yesterday I was going for a run with my daughter. We're wrapping up our kid shoes versus really, really small adult size shoes comparison. And she was like, Dad, you're going to be gone for my first cross country meet. I'm like, yeah, I'll be in Budapest. She's like, can we run for like 30 seconds at what you think my race pace should be? And so I was like, okay. Because we were just doing a little, we call it all day pace, which has been anywhere between like 12 and 15 minutes per mile for us. We run for about 2 miles. And so I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking she should run probably around 9 minutes, 10 minutes for her race pace. And so I'm trying to get down to 10-minute pace. And I'm looking at my Garmin. And it's taking a long time for it to update. And I'm like, I don't feel like Garmin's normally take this long. Or maybe because like other times I'm going from like my easy pace, like 10-minute miles to like marathon effort or faster, like 6:30s, you know? And that's a drastic change that it registers more quickly. I'm not sure. But it just seemed, I don't know, it just seemed weird. It took really, really long time. I don't know if it was we were in the woods. I don't know if that had to do with it, but I don't know. Yeah. All right. See, Run the World is here. Says hi all. Hey, how's it going? And 308 Bar says, whoa, Pace 2 has turn by turn. I've got a Pace 2. When was the update? I think it's still beta, but it's going to be rolling out. I think it's been beta for a while, or maybe it's out of, I don't know. I don't have the exact dates, but Chase the Summit just did a full video on it. So I would go check that out. He's much better at explaining watches than I am. I probably won't make a video about it. And he already has. So I would go check that out. Paul Pollock says, has anyone caught the 20-kilometer race walk at World Champs? Mind blown emoji. Are there specific shoes for walking? Super shoes surely don't work. Push you towards a penalty or DQ, however that works. I feel like a lot of them are wearing super shoes. I see a lot of Metaspeed. I'm not sure if they're Sky or Edge. I'm going to assume that I feel like the Edge would be much better for race walking. But I see a lot of Metaspeeds out there on the ASICS race walkers. And I feel like there's a lot of Vaporflies out there too. I think they're just wearing race shoes, you know? Because someone was saying, and I agree, Calvin's saying race walking is what the elites had to do with Cal running at my threshold or 5K pace. Yeah, well, yeah, that's Elkanah and Lindsay definitely had to do some serious shuffling for them to slow down to my pace. But race walkers are running at my 5K pace. They're doing like 6:30s, 6:20s, aren't they? Over like 30K or whatever the distance is. They're going fast. And then if you do pick up your feet, I feel like I've never watched a full race walk event before, but from what I've seen, it seems like there are almost as many officials as there are competitors, and they're constantly watching feet. And it's kind of like triathlon, where if you break a rule, you get like a card and you're penalized or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what how the penalty works, but yeah. Scott Struhl says about the Coros pace. He installed the beta today. It's pretty awesome. Okay, cool. Awesome. Frank says the world record for a race walk marathon is 3:30. Oh, is it? Oh, that's slower than I thought. Because what's a 3:30 marathon? 7:30s? No. Yeah, 7:30s, right? Something like that. Luis said the 20-kilometer race walker went in like 1:17. That's wild. Amazing. Eric says it's 8-minute pace for 3:30. That's still really fast. That's faster than I did New York last year. Matcha says, when will the Boston 12 video be? Probably in about a month is realistic. Because everyone says you have to break it in. I usually don't like it when I have to break in a shoe. I feel like that's a red flag. But everyone says wait till the break in. So I'm going to wait to run some miles in it. And I won't be able to run in it for the next like week and a half. So it's going to take a couple weeks to get the review out. Sorry. Colin Tanner says, I'm running a hood to coast relay this weekend. Any advice for straight downhill running? My quads, thank you. Have fun. I love downhill running. It's the best. I feel like I am slightly better at downhill running than the average person. I might be above average on down. I just, compared to how I perform in level running and uphill running, I'm below average in uphill running, and I'm average in regular running, and then above average in downhill running. I really enjoy downhill running. I'd say like let the gravity carry you when it can. It's gonna blow your quads either way. You know what I mean? But yeah, I usually like to open up my stride, let gravity carry me a little bit further. Some people say like you should intentionally try to heel strike. I don't know that that's bad advice or good advice. Eric says kick backwards on downhills to save your quads. Don't ever extend your toes in front of you going downhill. Overextend your toes. Okay. L. Scottman says, okay, the world record is 3:32, but it's for a 50K race walk. So that's 31 miles. See, I knew it was faster than 8-minute miles. There we go. Terrence says, I'd love to see Code do a Revel race. Is there such an elevation drop? I feel like those Revel races, though, is it all usable? Nothing to me is more frustrating than downhill that is too steep where you have to do a lot of braking. I hate that because I'm like, I had to run uphill. Usually you have to run uphill to get the downhill, and then now you can't even enjoy the downhill. So I don't like that a lot. But some of those are like 4,000 feet of drop. That's just incredible. That's a lot. I mean, 2,000 is a lot for tunnel marathon. I love that. 2,000 is good. that's usable. 4,000 was, I mean, because it was gradual, but I guess it depends. And Christopher Giannino says, as we get closer to New York City Marathon, do you plan on giving some tips for first-time New York City Marathon runners? Maybe, but I've only done it once, and I fun ran it. And then I also did it. I feel like the most valuable things to learn from New York City Marathon have to do with like the logistics. The logistics are complicated. And I just had to do a little bit of it, but a lot of it, I did it with New Balance. And so like, I had like access to a VIP area for the pre-race start. And then we had a special bus too. So I didn't have to deal with like, how do you get to Staten Island? I feel like that's the most complicated thing of the entire race, you know? So I might, I did a race recap video. So you could do a race recap of the New York City Marathon. I do a race? I thought I did a race recap. I'm not sure. I'll check. If I didn't do a race recap, maybe I'll go back and look and see if I can put something together. But, yeah, I'm not sure that I will, but we'll see. Maybe I'll do a search. If there's a lot already out there that covers it really well, I won't. But if there isn't a lot, then maybe I will. We'll see. Andrew Scott says, train hills, the bridges are no joke. That's certainly true. I would say get used to figuring out what marathon effort is on uphills. So that way you're not trying to keep same pace going up those giant bridges. That's something that you can start doing now. Calvin says, I think Floberg did a video talking about it a bit. Did he? Nice. That's good. Stevie76 says, the bus situation at Staten Island was chaotic. Yeah. So like, I feel like what's interesting is last year, Allie Feller is just so darn popular that when she does a really great New York City Marathon, like everything you need to know. So if you look up like Allie Feller and her several podcasts that she made last year, that will take you. She's done the race so many times, and now she works the race. I mean, she is New York City Marathon. So like, that's the thing is like, I'm not going to give you anything better than what Allie Feller can do. But last year she recommended that everyone take the ferry because it's scenic, it's easier, might take a little bit longer, but it's worth it, you know. And I think that she's so popular that everyone that would have taken, like a lot of people that would have taken buses, she doesn't think it was her fault, but I think it was partially her fault. Like the ferries were like extra slammed last year. So I don't know what the advice is going to be for this year in terms of what the best way is to get to Staten Island. But Allie Feller has put out like very, very detailed race analysis and like race tips. That's what I would go for. Eliza said the ferry was a nightmare last year. I think that's the power of Allie Feller. Yeah, Tracy Smith says, not on YouTube, but Allie on the Run has a great podcast covering logistics. Totally agree. All right. I think that's going to be a good place to end it for today, guys. Tomorrow's going to be the last live stream for a while, but we're going to go out with a bang. We're going to have a guest on. We're going to have Tina Muir, Running for Real podcast and author. She just co-wrote a book, Becoming a Sustainable Runner. I was just on her podcast a little while ago. I met her for the first time last TRE. And we've become friends since then, last November. I saw her in Atlanta. I was just on her podcast, and her book just came out last week. And so I thought I'd have her on so we could talk about it a little bit. So that'll be tomorrow. I feel like most of you guys already know who Tina Muir is, right? But for tomorrow's podcast, in case you don't know already, she's on runningforreal.com. That's an easy way to find like all of her stuff. She's on Instagram and on podcast. I don't know where else she's at, but those are the two places that I see her stuff. But you can also look at tomorrow's live stream, which I already have kind of scheduled and queued up. So you can go there. There's links down there in case you're interested. So that'll be tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see you guys back here again, same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. And in the meantime, stay safe out there, everybody. It's going to be hot. So hydrate.